Welcome in. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day. Wherever you're watching this, good day, mate. If you're watching this in Australia, I doubt it, but the NFL's talking about potentially playing down under, so we got that coming up. Um, with that out of the way, though, welcome to the show. As always, we got Trevor and Eric on. Got myself, and this is Third and Teal. We are in network
Third
with the
tier,
Curtis
baby.
Podcast Network. There's some other crappy shows on there. Something about a fake Texas team, the Tiny Titans. We got what was the other one? Unstable. Trademark me. I'll say there's right because I made it up. But you're on the best channel with the most followers, most views, most everything because we're the best. So, without further ado, Trevor, how we doing?
Dude, we're doing good. You killed the introduction. First thing I gotta say today, congratulations on your engagement, sir.
Oh, thank you,
Big
sir. Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah,
On the same
Had
page.
to,
I got it.
outstanding.
had to wait till the recording was on.
Yeah,
Everyone asked
yeah,
me.
yeah. I did get engaged. I beat the. Never mind. Anyways, um, but no, it's nice. A long time coming. It wasn't like she was gonna say no. We already had the wedding venue booked, and we've been dating for over 4 years. So I really hope that no is not in the question. I would have been even more awkward canceling the wedding venue and asking for my $500 deposit back.
Like,
Yes, that would have been quite awkward.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Glad to be
Me
here
too.
talking Jags football.
Okay, okay.
Oh yeah.
So OTAs going on. Everything's voluntary. Got a lot of young cats out there. Seen some takes out there about how people are doing, or how good people are doing, or how bad people are doing. Um, One important one that I want to talk about and get out of the way first is Trevor Lawrence. No knee brace, moving in the rain, really good. Looks like he is 100% back to healthy on that leg after the ankle injury and the knee injury and everything else. It's very nice to see him moving around again. A lot of good footwork, a lot of good movement. Get play action, everything. He's been moving around the whole range of things. There's been no reports that he's been limited whatsoever. Um, and then of course our other big one on the offensive side, Christian Kirk. He's back, and he is Christian Kirk. That is all I've been seeing about Christian Kirk, is that he is back and he is Christian Kirk, and there is no drop off from where he was before he got hurt. Some of these catches and videos, I mean, he looks good. That Trevor and Kirk connection is still alive and well. And yeah, I was kind of wondering what you guys have been hearing too.
I definitely heard the same thing about Trevor. I've been watching Trevor. Trevor looks jacked right now. First thing to speak about Trevor. Trevor looks huge right now. That could just be me, and it could just be the angles of the photos they took that I've seen in the OTAs. But dude looks massive. Not only does it look massive, but like it just goes to show that Trevor's gauge on himself is very accurate, because he did say in the offseason interview that it took until, what was it, March or April, I think he said, until he
I think
felt
it was
100%.
March.
March.
I
March?
think it was
Yeah,
March.
March. He
Yeah.
said March when I finally felt 100% to move. That means he's got a very good gauge on himself. I'm happy to see that. You like a quarterback with self-awareness, obviously. Um, and the rain was a big one. I thought, because obviously we have the artificial grass out there, I was worried about his slippage, putting pressure on the knee.
No, I'm pretty sure
Didn't
that's real
seem.
grass out there.
No, they have two side by side. I'm pretty sure they're not turf the same. At least I will say this: when
Mm.
I was there in person, they did not appear to be turf the same. One could have been brand new, and I know when I was talking to one of the staff there, he said he was pretty sure they had one grass, one turf, and the purpose behind would be
Gotcha.
like
'Cause
readiness.
all the
But
clips
either.
I've seen, there's
Yeah.
been dirt flying and everything. So I'm pretty sure they've been practicing primarily on the grass one when it was raining.
Okay, well then that's cool. Then either way, it's still wet grass. That's still pressure on the
Oh yeah.
knees. I'm very happy to see him moving, because I did see a clip of him rolling out, and it was classic Trevor, and I was very happy to see that. And then in regards to Kirk, Kirk's still a surgeon. Kirk is still a surgeon. Um, Dude dude was cutting on a dime. He went up for the catch. It looked really good. I mean, he came down solid. That's what I looked for. I don't know if you saw the clip. Like, he went up like this in a triangle motion, and his body angled to the left. And when he came down, it was on it wasn't on that knee, but like his land support would have been on that knee. I was very concerned, or not the knee, but the leg that the groin injury favored to. I was very interested to see how he landed. He landed strong, and he burst out of the landing. So I was happy to see that. Didn't have any drop off there.
Oh yeah, it was definitely nice to see.
Yes.
And as you said too, Luke Fortner got huge.
Yeah, Luke Fortner looks big.
Fortner
Does
looks,
it?
Yeah,
Fortner looks like Fortner ate Fortner.
Like he looks like he probably put on like 30 or 40 pounds in the offseason. Like he looks big. And Trevor, the player that Trevor hates the most, Tyler Lacey, looking a little trimmed down, looking like he's looking a little more athletic and lean.
Trevor may not like him right now, but he knows. And it's a good thing if that's the catch. There, he done got a little quicker, and hopefully
I want him to show up and show out. I do. I don't want him to be a dud.
Honestly, bro, it's kind of disrespectful how Terrell Edmonds came in here and took such a legendary number like 45 after the absolute legend we've had in that number for the past couple of years. Just
you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth, you mediocre clarinet player.
I just don't see why he thought that was okay, but whatever.
I wonder if he called him and checked it.
Can't body trash. He's not even gonna make the team.
No way, Chase Young cleared that.
Huh?
No way he cleared that.
Clear what?
The numbers.
What are you talking? Why would he clear that?
You got to call. You got to call everybody. All of our old legends. I'm talking about all the guys that were Mr. Irrelevance. You got to call them all.
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Because if they matter, they'd still be on the team. So I think he's good. I think he's clear on that one.
Listen, don't worry about it. Don't panic. He's not even going to make the team. We won't see 45 all year.
This is actually one year where I actually do want to see 45. So, like, I'm not scared. I'm not scared to see 45.
That's very fair.
But yeah, I mean, not too much. No, I mean, there's been some good clips. Tyler Lacey looking good. There's that. We got Tyler Lacey looking good. Devon Hamilton is back. Doug Peterson said that he is back, and he is more like 2022 Devon. And honestly, 22 Devon was pretty solid. He was moving dudes. He was pushing them around, getting in their face. He was causing pressure. So it will be very nice to see him back. New corner / DB / safety, Yasir Abdullah, looking good out there. A little versatility out of him.
Yeah.
No, it's of course he is just I'm sure he's just getting the crash course in coverage because he will be rotating in at Sam linebacker from everything I've seen so far in the reports I've been looking at, which makes a lot of sense because I'm sure that I'm almost positive that the primary Sam will be Devin Lloyd, and he will be coming off the edge a little bit in some packages and formations and plays.
That makes sense.
And that's why I could easily see them working in Yasir Abdullah there because he is an undersized rusher at 6'1", like 250 something pounds. Very fast. He ran like a 4.4, 4.41 or something like 4.42 maybe at the combine. So super fast, super athletic. At Louisville, he did go out in coverage, but mainly he was rushing the passer. So it'll be nice to kind of see him moving around and getting a little more versatile there. He can come in probably. He could play a little bit at the end if you need him to in this 4-3 scheme. But that Sam position is going to be really nice because he's going to be able to move around. I have heard that, and I'll be done on my rant after this, but I have heard that with this Ryan Nielsen defense, everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to do. There's been no looks of confusion, no hand waving, no yelling. I've heard that every play looks exactly the same. Looks like a 2-high shell with the 4-3 base in the front. I've heard every play looks exactly the same, and then as soon as the play starts, it's something different. So that's really encouraging there, being able to see that. Being able to play 2 high shell and then immediately go to something completely different as soon as the play starts. Very, 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 very critical and confusing quarterbacks. I'm liking what I'm hearing about everything, and I'm gonna turn it over to you guys a little bit. But that's kind of some stuff I want to talk about. There's a little bit of other stuff, but I can't take the whole show. So, what y'all got? What y'all been hearing? What's going on?
Speaking of the Ryan Nielsen thing, I've heard the same thing, and I will say, I was watching some of the coverage drills. I've seen some clips. There's obviously you're not going to see everything, but I was watching some of the clips that some people have of Tyson Campbell running alongside Cisco and such, just pretending pressure and stuff like that and going up. I can recall watching Mike Caldwell led camps with our defense, and I don't know. It's not. I can't say that you get everything from that short little clip. You obviously can't, but they look more engaged to me. The guys look like they're buying into this. And from the other clips I've seen of our defensive players, they really seem engaged. Whereas I can remember going to training camp last year and didn't even look a quarter of this engaged. Guys just looked like they were only there because they were paid to be there.
Gotcha.
And that's what it felt like. But I mean, you're watching these guys move, and you're watching them interact with each other on social medias, and you're watching just some of the drill differences. I've heard that there is a difference in the drills that he runs, like individual drills, and the way that he gets personal time with DBs, edge rushers, linebackers, the line. He's getting involved with everyone, and that's good. That's a big change.
Right.
And that too high, confuse you, throw them in a blender scheme that Isaiah was just mentioning is exactly what we need to throw someone of the likes of a CJ Stroud off, because don't care what anybody says, that guy gets confused when the coverage changes after the snap. And he gets confused, and it's pretty obvious. I mean, look what happened when he didn't have Tank Dell. Tank Dell literally just blazed past people. But if he has to actually read a defense that was not what it was meant to be from the original read, he gets lost. Now, not saying he's not a good quarterback. He is able to still read a defense. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say he sees a confusing defense and just doesn't know how to quarterback. But I am saying it takes him a lot longer to read than what the
go through the reads, and process it. Yeah,
correct. And then, as far as going back to player engagement, our guys were getting cooked because most of them really didn't. I honestly don't feel like they cared to even be on the field anymore. They don't even know the plays that are going on. They're just thrown there. They're just standing in a spot because that's what their position says. They didn't even know what the play was. But that player involvement, the movement of Yasir Abdullah, that was a good one. I'm very excited about that, actually. That shows that Ryan's actually looking through our roster at everyone to see what everyone can do. Because I feel like he was underused before, personally, and what he could do, So I'm glad to see that's a sign that Nielsen's actually going through personnel. He wants to know who we got and where we got them and what can they do. And that's what I've got to say about, the signs and sightings of a Ryan Nielsen-led defense at OTAs.
Okay. And I'm happy to hear all that. I really am. But, as I always say, it's only day 2 of OTAs. I understand, and I'm happy everybody's out there, getting their work in, looking better than last year. But I just can't wait for actual training camp when you put the pads on. And, that's a totally different. You get the real 707s and see who's really going to pop out there. Yeah, I know this is meant to get us excited, get back into the grind of football and all that. But I look at it, I say, oh, yeah, that's a nice catch. Oh, yeah. Oh, he made a pretty one-hand catch, see who blocking with Trevor on the first team during these drills, and just looking at certain players, I'm like, okay, that's cool. But when we get to July and August, yeah, that's when I really start paying attention in. You know, like I said, you're putting on your pads. You're really going through the actual plays, 11 on 11. Let's do it, So, but that's good. That's good. Like I was telling y'all earlier, I don't get much Jaguar coverage out here where I live at. So I have to catch it here and there. And usually it's the same ones over and over again. Like, okay, all right, I've seen this one. But yeah, from what I've seen so far, I'm impressed myself, though. I really am.
One other thing I want to say that I am impressed with that I forgot to touch on was the veteran faces that are there. Isaiah mentioned in the beginning it's voluntary. Obviously, you're gonna see veteran faces, but I was actually shocked, and that's what made me get the sensation of they're buying into this. They are engaged because, I mean, I think the most notable I've heard not being there is Josh Allen. Josh Allen is in Arizona as he always does. But other than that, like I haven't heard of any notables not being there. I've seen Foye already. I've seen Devin Lloyd already. I mean, I've seen obviously we've seen Trevor, we've seen Kirk, we've seen Ingram. All of our game changers. We've seen Campbell, we've seen Cisco, seen Savage. I've
Is
seen
Ingram there? I haven't seen Ingram yet.
No, I saw one clip of Ingram, but he is there. He is there. I don't know if he's been there both days, but I do know he was there at least one. But either way, like that still gives me a good feeling. I am happy to see them there. And one thing I will say, and I'll admit it, I was jealous because as soon as the Texans went and picked up Stephon Diggs, CJ Stroud found him. They met up and were throwing within the week. I want that. I want to see that from our franchise, our guys. I want that kind of dedication. But to see Trevor at voluntary, that makes me very happy.
Trevor, Gabe, and them went out and threw within like 2 weeks of him of picking up Gabe Davis.
Oh, I know him and Gabe Davis did. And that again.
I think him, Kirk, and Zay and somebody else all went out together. Like the whole group went out, as far as I know.
Right, and that makes me happy. I am also happy that they're not as open about it because clearly you're not doing it for clout then. You know what I mean? You're doing it to actually get the work in. You're not doing this for the media. I'm not saying that we don't do it. I was just actually like I'm reiterating like these are the things I want to see, and then these are the things that we saw, and I'm very happy to see it, which I think could usher us into the next topic, Isaiah, up to you. But Trevor's contract and what we see from him as a team guy, a leader guy, and the words and whispers coming out of our organization about what his potential contract would look like and how it's actually supposedly a lot more imminent than some might think after we picked up that 5th year anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was a fake tweet or if it was real. I could probably pull it up, but Dilla apparently put out a thing earlier saying 53. And so I don't know of anybody notable on the team that's number 53. So I'm pretty sure we all know what that's alluding to. I would be very, 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 very happy to pay Trevor $53 million a year. I think that would be honestly just like I think that'd be really good. I mean, realistically, 53 a year is way less than I thought we were going to pay him in terms of like a couple $1 million a year less. If that's the number, I'm happy at that, but I mean, that's yet to be seen. But yeah, definitely in talks. I mean, Doug Peterson said in a press conference they are working tirelessly to get it done. Of course, he's coaching, and that's more important, but they are working in the background to get this deal done. I think we beefed up some areas we needed to, and I think we did enough stuff in the offseason for Trevor to feel comfortable with them building this team for him going forward. But of course, it's yet to be seen. We'll have to work on that. But I'm pretty stoked at 53 if that ends up being the number.
53. Ooh.
I gotta say, I'm very stoked at 53 because you see the digs at Trevor about our disappointing season last year, but I can't fault Trevor with that. I can fault Trevor with some things on him, obviously, but no player is perfect. Like I can fault Mahomes with plenty of the picks he threw trying to force feed the ball to Kelsey. But you could fault any quarterback in the league. 53, I'm incredibly happy. I saw one take on it, and I think it is the perfect take for it. I just think he undersold it a little bit. Basically, the gist of it was, if you pay Trevor Lawrence this money, you're paying him in the anticipation that he does develop into the generational talent that he was touted to be. Personally, I hate that everyone is so quick to forget that he's top 10 in the league before his injury. I hate that. It bothers me to my core. Also want to point out that he took a poverty franchise, and I'm just saying the truth. I love our team, but it's what we were when Trevor got to Jacksonville, a poverty franchise, to back-to-back winning seasons after his rookie year, which I don't think actually counted. I mean, he didn't even have a head coach, so let's just. I mean, the whole world acknowledges his rookie season is pretty much off the board. It does not count.
Right.
So you look in his first 2 seasons with a real staff, winning seasons, and that hasn't happened here back to back in a long time.
A long time, long time.
So that being said, I feel like I am going to be on the Trevor train until it is over. Okay, I'm going to ride it until it goes off the rails, and then I'm going to do everything I can to put it back on and ride it some more. Okay, because the dude, to me, there's no doubt in my mind he's the guy. There's no doubt in my mind he's the guy. Is there things he needs to work on? Absolutely, but I think there was tons of things that needed to be done in the team around him. You guys are aware of the supporting cast rankings, right? Obviously, of your quarterback's here. Now let's rank the team around him. The team around him was ranked 30th. We were ranked 30th in supporting cast. And yet they still dig at this man for a winning season, riddled with injuries with a number 30 supporting cast. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. This guy is definitely the guy. 53 mil a year. That is the Tom Brady approach, because he should be worth more. I'll just say it. I think personally he's worth more. I mean, I don't see Jared Goff doing anything that he can't do. And Jared Goff just got – I saw this quoted on Instagram, so I want to give credit to who actually posted it, but I can't remember. But it was actually hilarious that Jared Goff got Ukraine foreign aid money. Okay? That guy got paid.
Oh, wow.
He got paid. And I do not believe for one split second he can outplay Trevor. I don't.
Yeah.
He's less mobile. Trevor's got better accuracy, especially on the over-the-shoulder throws and the back fades and all those things. Trevor's got a bigger arm for better deep ball throws. I don't see him outplaying Trevor, but he just got Ukraine foreign aid money, and everybody thinks it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's because his team around him is good, and he took a poverty franchise to the playoffs. Where's that credit for Trevor? Trevor got it last year. Everyone's like, oh, this season needs to be his year. We didn't do anything for him last offseason. We got him one offensive lineman. Kirk came back, and Kirk missed a bunch of passes. I mean, we didn't do anything for him. And he was riddled with injuries that year too. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm calling a spade a spade. These are the facts. I'm not speculating that maybe he was hurt. We know he was hurt.
That is true.
Okay, so those things being facts and these things being known to be true, where's the credit for Trevor that Jared Goff gets? And then on that same token, we are getting Trevor Lawrence at a steal. And I hope to God that number is correct. And I hope to God that contract comes out within the next coming days. I'd love to see it on my birthday, personally. My birthday's coming up. It'd be the perfect gift. I would hit a backflip on dry land. I don't care.
Okay. Man. Now, it's y'all know I always go back and be telling y'all history about the Jaguars. In the history of Jacksonville, they have drafted 7 quarterbacks. All right. Do you know only 2 of those 7, not counting Trevor, has ever signed the second contract?
Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles and David Garrard.
Yep.
Those are the only 2. So I'm looking like, okay, let's look at Trevor. Does Trevor deserve $53 million? Yeah, he does. He done played 50 games, 64% completion, 11,770 yards, 58 touchdowns, 39 interceptions. We know about his fumbles, but he has taken the team to the playoffs, won 2 games. Was it 2 games?
One.
One game. Yeah, won 1 game.
Should have been 2, but Agnew sold. Typical Agnew fashion.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned golf, man. I mean, Trevor did that, 16 games golf. He played 17 games last year, passing yards 45, 75, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And then you look at Mahomes, because, I was just curious how I stack up. Mahomes, 16 games, 4183 as passing yards, 27 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. All right. Now, compare all those numbers right there, and you're looking like, why not? These guys are supposed to be right now at the top of the league, and his numbers are basically right there with theirs.
And he was injured with the 30th supporting cast.
Right. So why not pay this guy? You need to pay him. Jacksonville got a real bad history of not being loyal to the players, the good players, and we need to change that, starting with Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, I agree. You should go ahead and pay that man. And like Trevor said, it'll be cheaper now than it will next year.
Oh yeah, he's going off this year. Yeah. Anybody with a brain can see that. He's going to.
The reason I'm not. Oh, God.
Oh, you're good, buddy.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the reason I'm not worried about it is because I think they have already changed that they're not pay or that they were going to pay players because they paid Josh Allen.
Agreed.
Yeah, they gave him a bag and a half, and they gave him the long term. I think that they've kind of already started to rectify that. It wasn't one of those 3-year deals. It wasn't, it was a big deal, a lot of money. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to get a bag and a half too. I think Cisco's probably next after that. But yeah, I think we're doing that.
Oh, I think ETN will be next.
I do think we re-sign ETN personally. I think we ETN has a strong year, we sign him.
I think we re-sign him, but I think we let him play on the 5th-year option.
Oh, I agree there. We're gonna let him play his 5th year.
I could see him play the 5th-year option and then give him like a 3-4 year deal. Just because we'll have like $4.6 million or something like that on the 5th year. So I that's the only reason I say Cisco. We can't give Cisco a 5th year or Campbell. So I think Cisco's the better option. And I think once you lock down, if he has a good year, of course, but I think once you lock down, you lock down Allen, you lock down Trevor, you lock down Cisco or Campbell, whichever one you want to lock down first. I think then you can start talking about, okay, what can we pay ETN? What can we pay these other guys? We got Trayvon coming up. I think that's the only reason I would say Cisco over ETN. I think you let him play on that 5th year unless you have the cap space worked out so well that you can go ahead and re-sign him.
I do feel like they 5th year Allen as well, or not Allen, but Walker. Not because they don't want to re-sign him, but I think they'll 5th year him simply for the same reason they'll 5th year ETN. They know they're good, they're solid production pieces, but they want to lock down some other players first. Want to get some money dished out this year to have some money recouped for next year. I think Walker and ETN will both end up playing their 5th year tags or their 5th year rookie deals. Option. Yeah, their options. Sorry. But I do agree with you, Isaiah. They did change the culture of letting people walk with Allen. Personally, I'm not going to lie. I felt they changed it when they paid Ingram. And the reason I felt that way is not because obviously Ingram wasn't our draft pick, but the reason I felt that way is because we've also had a history of bringing in people that did well for us and then letting them walk right back out again. We've been a revolving door for developing people and then allowing them to go somewhere else and win Super Bowls. When they agreed to pay Ingram the money they paid Ingram at the length they paid him, I already felt right then and there that we were changing the culture here as far as we're not just going to let you come in, develop here, and leave. We want you here. We want you to know we want you here. And that's the end of the day. that's the same reason I said I wanted Josh Allen's deal done sooner rather than later, which I know we all agreed on. But that's why I wanted it done sooner rather than later. I didn't want Allen to feel like he was any less important. And the only reason I say that is I know Isaiah made a point, which is valid, is that they know that it is business, and I don't think they take it personal. But I don't think necessarily they take it personal, but you could tell, in my opinion, in the conversations and interviews that Allen had that it bothered him.
Yes,
that they didn't just sign him. I feel like it was evident that it bothered him. And I do think he was wondering about it because before him, Ingram was the only guy that really even seemed to get a good deal on a second round here. And before, like, I mean, you're sitting here thinking, I got drafted here. They got a bad history of letting us draft picks walk. Like, they're tagging me. Are they going to try to throw some disrespectful money at me? Like, you know, and he'd already been in talks. So maybe not that last part, I guess. But either way, that's why I wanted it done sooner rather than later, was to just even further just drive that stake in the ground, make it known for everyone. This includes every one of our players on our organization. If you're a key piece here, we're going to do what we can do to keep you here. And I think that's what they accomplished. And then with the Trevor deal, I'd love to see Trevor's deal done yesterday. I'm so serious. Because I mean, like I said, anybody with eyes and a brain that knows anything about football can see that barring any catastrophic injury, Trevor is going to absolutely explode this year. If he doesn't, it'd be the biggest shock I've had in a very long time. I mean, he's going to explode.
I mean, honestly, last year up to 8-3, he was balling out. He really was. He was balling out. You know, then those little nagging injuries started happening. And of course, we know the other chaos on the team. So, you know, that kind of derailed it a little bit. And, you know, the talking heads of the media on these football shows just has it out again. I think, you know what? I think the media builds somebody up so much to when it takes a little longer, or they don't throw these fantastic stats every week. You know, they consider it a bust, but they're not looking at the development and how the players actually playing. Especially when it comes to Jacksonville, I don't see too many of them have anything positive to say about Jacksonville for some reason. But you know, with the term generational talent, you know, they put more pressure on Trevor through the media than he put on himself about it. You know, he come in to play ball. So as long as he continues to progress, you know, let's turn down on the fumbles a little bit because, and the turnovers. But other than that, as long as he continues to progress and perform, I don't see why they're so negative against him. You know, but hey, I'm with you. Pay Trevor, give him his money. He's doing what he came here to do. You know, so yeah. And the team is finally getting him some support around him, where it's just not on him completely. Now I hope from now on when he started running, he learned how to get down a little quicker than what he doing sometimes. But other than that, yeah.
But you gotta sometimes you gotta show them DBs, you gotta get in the weight room though.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
He is a physical specimen. I'm just kidding. He needs to slide, but it is funny as hell to see him absolutely weight check a DB.
Look, I ain't gonna lie. When I used to see a quarterback coming, boy, my mouth got water. It's like, oh, I'm gonna break him. I'm gonna break him. Because I played linebacker, but yeah. So I can just imagine. But Trevor bigger than most of the corners in the league anyway.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it makes me laugh. They do exactly what you just said. They they start salivating. They're ready to hit a quarterback, and then he weight rooms them one time. He shows them real quick in a hurry while they're not like that. And that makes me laugh. But he's got to get down because we need him long term.
Yeah. That's the thing. Long term picture. But yeah.
Yep. And number 3 on PFF's top 25 under 25, and you know, people love to hate on PFF, and they talk about how trash it is. But then as soon as it supports somebody they like, they're like, "Oh my God, PFF! Like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this." They try and shove it down your throat.
Let me guess. CJ Stroud is one, didn't it?
Nope. CJ Stroud is number 7, I believe. He is behind Trevor Lawrence. So for those of you, hate PFF, love
Mm.
PFF, I don't give a shit what you think about PFF. They got some folks that know ball. They got some folks that don't out there. Every organization does. They think that Trevor Lawrence is better, and that's okay. One thing I saw, like Dan Orlovsky was like, "Oh, it's a mistake to pay Trevor that much." Blah blah blah. That's why Dan Orlovsky is a talking head on ESPN, and he's not a coach,
Right.
and he's not a GM. After he played in the league for 12 years, like you think if you're a quarterback in the league for that long and you know so much about football, you probably would have got a coaching gig somewhere or at least a tryout. No, Dan Orlovsky's sitting on his ass talking on ESPN with Acho and them, and just talking about bullshit all the time. Yeah, I mean, y'all want to hate on Trevor all you want, but at the end of the day, if any one of them was a GM and they had to start a franchise and they had a choice between Trevor and Brock Purdy, on ESPN they're going to say Brock Purdy because look at what he's done. In real life, though, they're taking Trevor Lawrence all day long.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're going to say Brock Purdy because they don't want the flack from the hype beast fans that just see the 49ers in the Super Bowl and don't see the fact that it was the 49ers, not Brock Purdy, that took them there. Okay.
Right.
They're going to say that. And another thing, the reason they ride CJ Stroud so hard is because it's another hype train thing, because anybody who knows football can recognize the fact that not every rookie quarterback gets to come in behind an all-star tackle and guard in Laramie Tunsil. Okay. Not everybody gets to come back there and literally stand behind a steel wall. I would like to say, though, that when we played him, Josh Allen ate his ass alive. Just wanted to point that out. But anyway, back to the point. The point being, not everyone gets to come into a cast where everything's complete question marks and no one has any film study on you. So there's no predictability. There's none. There is no predictability. DeMeco Ryans played his part masterfully. All credit to DeMeco Ryans and credit to CJ Stroud. He's athletically gifted. He is a good quarterback. He is not a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. If you would have put CJ Stroud in Jacksonville, CJ Stroud would already be a backup. I personally feel that way. I think CJ Stroud would be a backup if he come to Jacksonville out of the draft instead of Lawrence. Stroud is smaller. If Stroud took some of the hits that Lawrence has taken behind our line, good Lord. That's 10 years off of his life, not just his career. Okay. And then not to mention the fact that he didn't get, if he wouldn't have got the veil of uncertainty that he got with DeMeco Ryans. Because you think you're coming into, if you're a defensive coordinator, the Texans were the worst thing to see on your upcoming opponents list. And not because they're just scary good. They literally got their ass whooped by the Jets. Okay. It's not because they're scary good. It's because you literally can't game plan for shit. It's a rookie quarterback with a rookie star receiver and a rookie head coach that's calling the fucking plays. You have nothing to go off of. You've got hopes and dreams and hope that your man sticks with a really fast receiver. I mean, and that's what you got. And then he does have an all-star guard in Tunsil. He's got time back there. Okay, so I mean, I'm not trying to take away from the fact that he is good. He is good. Do not get me wrong. But I am going to say that everyone who thinks that just because he had a good season and went further than the Jaguars did, with an injured Lawrence, by the way, that thinks Stroud is now better all of a sudden, you clearly don't know football. I'm just going to say that now. You don't know football. You don't. Because if you knew football, you look at the circumstances, you look at the supporting cast, because if I'm not mistaken, the Texans were up there in the teens on the supporting cast. I didn't double check it, but I want to say for sure they were in the teens. That's significantly higher than us. I mean, either way you slice this, Trevor is at the disadvantage and still hung with them. Still hung with them, no matter what way you look at it. Whether you look at it from offensive line, Trevor's got one of the worst in the league last year. Still hung with them. Whether you look at it from an injury standpoint, him and CJ went through the same injury that CJ had, plus Trevor had more. Still hung with them. CJ had a better receiving core, and we lost the only guy that was good for us. Trevor still hung with them. All CJ lost was Tank Dell. That has nothing to do with the fact that Nico Collins is still a beast of a receiver. Trevor still hung with them. Okay? Trevor took tons of hits. CJ Stroud took a hit and was gone for I think it was like 3 weeks he was in concussion protocol.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Something like that. Trevor came back in 5 days. 5 days and still hung with them. Hate on him or love him, you can't deny the fact that the man is a great quarterback. He is worth every dime they're considering paying him, and he is top 10 in the league. I do not care what you say. Name me 10 better quarterbacks.
I can't do it. 10?
There's not 10 better quarterbacks.
No.
Go, actually, matter of fact, Isaiah, if you don't mind, Eric, give me your top 10 quarterbacks.
Man, I can't give you no top 10 quarterbacks. I can't even think of them all. Mahomes. Okay. I'll put Mahomes at the top.
That's fair.
Let's see. Yeah, Mahomes. Who would be next? But dang.
You can't put the parasite Josh Allen there because he's only as good as whoever he's playing.
Hey, he about the only one who falls in that category, really. Let's see, who else? Justin Herbert, no. Derek Carr, no.
Oh.
Aaron Rodgers. Okay, we give Aaron Rodgers
definitely up there.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who else out there? Man, I can't do it.
I can give you my top five. We can even do top five, and then I ask Isaiah. Obviously, you get more time to think about it, so be stewing over there, pal. Number one for me, Mahomes. Number two for me is Rodgers. Number three, Lamar Jackson. I put Lamar Jackson because he is a versatile weapon and he does have a good deep ball, despite what his critics say. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Number four, Joe Burrow. Do not care what anybody says. Joe Burrow goes through the first 3 weeks where he's the worst quarterback in the league, and then he comes back to play like he's literally Jesus Christ in football form. Okay? The guy is good. He's elite. Joe Burrow is elite. And you can't deny the man. Okay? Number 5 for me is Trevor Lawrence. And that's not just – I'm not saying this because he's our quarterback. I say number 5 simply because – if you're looking at the number 5 spot, the next person logically for me that I would have to think, or the next people would be CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, Herbert, or Lawrence. Those are the 4 that I would be deciding for number 5. None of these 3 have a better deep ball placement than Trevor Lawrence. None of these 3 can throw as far as Trevor Lawrence. None of these 3 have the toughness and availability for game day as Trevor Lawrence. None of these 3 have done as much with as little as Trevor Lawrence. That right there is already enough for me to put Trevor Lawrence above them alone.
Yeah.
None of these 3 are dealing with the clusterfuck that we had at offensive coaching staff. Okay?
Okay. All right.
None of these 3.
Right.
And all of the other 3, if they didn't have all-star lines, they had top 25 or 20 offensive lines.
I don't know why I can't remember Lamar Jackson. I don't know.
I'm not just being delusional, because if I was delusional, I'd put Lawrence in the top 3. I don't put him in the top 3. He's really good, but he's not top 3. Okay? But he damn sure is top 5. Because I look around the league. What are you going to do? You're going to tell me Tua turn the ball over is better? Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. Okay? So
Jalen Hurts? No.
You take 2 out of it. You take Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a flop. He was just another one of those, I'm with a really good supporting cast.
And don't forget that joke down there in Dallas. The Cowgirls quarterback. I don't even want to talk
about Dak. Dakota.
Yeah.
Dakota is not even in my top 10, to be completely honest with you. And then I just keep going around the league. Like, I can't think of any other quarterback. I would say this. Josh Allen would go – if Trevor Lawrence didn't go 5, Josh Allen would go 5. But Trevor Lawrence makes him his bitch every time he plays him.
Yeah, that's true.
True. I'm just saying. So
yeah. Well, I guess that's an interesting lineup. What about you, Isaiah?
If I put Lawrence at 5, I'm putting Allen at 6.
6, yeah.
And then I put Stroud and then I put Herbert, and then I put probably I can't even put Anthony Richardson. The Colts fans that put him anywhere are delusional. You saw him for 20 minutes, dude. Okay,
that was it.
You didn't get him past the what is it? The game plan. I mean, bro didn't even make it past the. Yeah.
You don't really know what you have yet. You don't. Now, is he a stud? He is a freakishly gifted athlete. But we also saw at Florida, freakishly gifted athlete does not make you freakishly gifted quarterback. And I'm not even trying to talk shit on your team, Isaiah. I'm just trying to say I know a bunch of Gator fans that are in my family that really wish they would have pulled him in a lot of situations because he's reckless with the football and he's reckless with his body. Exhibit fucking A. Rookie season, gone.
I think Isaiah agreed with us on that one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I said that whenever he was at Florida, and I said it when he was coming out of the draft. I said that C.J. Stroud would be the best quarterback in that class. I said that Anthony Richardson would look really good when he was in, but he was going to get injured before week 5, week 6. I mean, that was my biggest take on him from Florida was, as a Florida fan, somebody who watched football and watched basically all the games, he came out of at least 1 or 2 drives a game at the minimum. Where we'd be in a big moment and he'd try and run and somebody hit his leg or he'd spin and still get knocked or something. And then he's got to come out. He's got a stinger or whatever it is. They got to check him out in the tent. He just doesn't understand how to protect himself right now. And unfortunately it led to him getting hurt, but can't really expect much else.
Which is not going to lie. What crushes my soul about the Jets picking up Jordan Travis.
What's that?
Because Jordan Travis was an absolute tank. And according to the entire nation, apparently, he was the only bright spot on an undefeated conference champion.
Hey, don't worry. Don't worry. He'll get his chance to start after the first 2 plays of the game.
I know he will. I'm going to support Jordan Travis no matter where he goes. Because that guy, he's a fucking stud. And not only is he a stud, he comes from the college I love dearly. And not only that, but I just appreciated the fact that he could have transferred. He could have transferred. They wanted him to give up. One of the coaches even suggested him switching from quarterback. Instead of transferring, he dedicated himself, he re-upped, and he went in like no other and dedicated to his craft and became one of the best quarterbacks in college football. That being said, I'm going to support that man no matter where he goes. I think it is absolutely criminal. He fell so far in the draft because of an injury that has already been made clear he's actually recovering very fucking well from. Not saying that his draft stock shouldn't obviously be affected by the injury. It was pretty gruesome. I understand. But, I mean, fuck, dude. Drake May went to the Patriots. I mean, I don't know. And this man was supposedly the only bright spot on an undefeated conference champion. If he's that fucking good, which he is that good, but he was not the only bright spot. I mean, we also had the number 1 running back prospect, but that surely didn't matter either. And we also had one of the best D lines, and that didn't matter either. But anyway,
you talking about Trey Benson?
Yeah, Trey Benson was the number 1 rated running back.
Number 12.
No.
In the class, consensus in the class, he might have had a higher PFF rating, but in the class, he was not the number 1 rated running back. As in, coming out in consensus boards where they were getting drafted, he wasn't even top 5.
I was talking about after combine numbers, he was number 1. Now he didn't go number 1 on census board. There are some things that people are obviously going to see on him. I'm not saying he's the best running back. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he was definitely a guy that turned heads. Okay, not the best running back prospect. I'm not trying to say that, but we did have 2 of the best D-line prospects in the whole fucking draft. We had 2 of the best. Now I'm not saying they are the
overrated.
And
they went to the same team. Imagine
and they
that.
went to the same fucking team. I mean, But either way, I mean, if he was so fucking good that he outshined all of those guys entirely, he outshined a corner that hasn't allowed a touchdown in a year and a half, dude. Dude's got the fucking it factor, and he fell that far. Okay, that's why I think overall, I think the biggest picture I'm getting at is the view on quarterbacks and the way that they're played determines who they are is so distorted. And they've really lost touch. They've really lost touch with the game. Because, dude, my opinion, ball for ball, player for player, Jordan Travis should be higher on the board than a Drake May. Jordan Travis played better than Drake May did. Don't care. At me if you want to. He played better than Drake May. He was a better quarterback. Okay? Trevor Lawrence plays better than C.J. Stroud. Plays harder than C.J. Stroud. But yet he's hated and is not even, quote-unquote, top 10, while C.J. Stroud somehow now cracking top 5 because he was on a team that no one knew anything about. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand it's a business, an entertainment business, to be on places such as ESPN and, and all these fucking independent shows and standalones and all this, all these analysis shows and all that. I get it's an entertainment business. It's all about the talk. But when are people going to learn ball and understand that your best credibility is actually having the knowledge and understanding to accept what's real and what's not? Because, like, here's a hard truth, and I'll accept it. I am underwhelmed by what I've seen of Brian Thomas Jr. so far. First of all, and this is the one thing I'll say, Brian Thomas Jr. almost seems completely out of touch with anything happening in football. There was an interview done where they asked him about one of his old teammates from LSU, and I cannot remember exactly what it was, but it was a well-known thing. I'm blanking. Of course, I'm blanking now. It was a pretty well-known event that happened. It was very well-known, and he had no idea.
Really?
No idea. No idea. And not only that, like, I also don't find it comforting that in every one of the pictures and clips I saw from the rookie reveal day, he was always by himself almost. He stood in groups occasionally, but he really seemed to be alone. Why is he alone? And then also,
question.
And then also, all the news coming out of camp that Parker Washington is the second best receiver at camp right now behind Christian Kirk. Where's our first-round draft pick? What are you doing? Like, I will say right now.
You're also talking about a guy who's been through an OTA before, comparing to a guy who's never been through an OTA before.
I understand.
It's only like day 2.
Reasons. I do understand the obvious reasons. I'm just saying my hope for him was obviously through the roof that he would just come out and blow it apart. It is still only day 2. That's what I was about to say, though. It is still only day 2.
I was about to say, but Trevor, let's be honest, it's just OTAs.
No, I know it is. It's just, I don't know. I'm just saying a harsh truth as far as, like, I'm not saying he's a bust, and I'm not saying I'm disappointed with him. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to bring it all into one relative scope, that credibility comes from honesty and realism. And being real and being honest, I noticed some things on him that I was not very excited about. Like, I feel like a player who's in touch but not obsessed with what's going on in football is a well-versed football player. That guy is paying attention to what's good and what's bad for the sport. I'm not saying that he should be, like, shoving his face into social media all night long about what its critics and lovers say. But, like, what's going on in the business is probably a good thing to know. It just shows that you're attentive. That's what I like to see. And I also will say, dude is on Instagram Live a fuck ton. Dude is on Instagram Live a ton. And his favorite artist is Youngboy. That's scary. Like, I know a lot of Youngboy songs, okay? And dudes that like Youngboy, Youngboy is a rap artist, okay? And if you like Youngboy, typically you're one of 2 types of people. Typically, you're a guy that either just likes a really wild, just offbeat style type of rap that just goes in its own direction, or you really come from the hood like that. Like you come from where the type of place Youngboy comes from. Okay,
dude, he played in Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
That's where Youngboy comes from. Okay, Youngboy comes from Louisiana. Here's the problem with Youngboy. Youngboy keeps getting federally indicted.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. Okay. Either way, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to turn out great. I like Youngboy. I like Youngboy because I like people who are real and do what they say they're going to do. Now, I'm not saying that young boy should be breaking the law every 5 minutes, but at least if he said he was going to do it, the man went out and did it. I mean,
You heard it here first, folks. Trevor likes young boys.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't put my arms up for that.
Oh God, let me get this quarterback list out of the way, and let's get out of here.
Okay. Hold on. Wait before you one more time put it
there.
there. But you know, Trevor, God dang it, didn't slip my mind just that fast talking about. Oh yeah, you know, Brian Thomas Jr. may end up to be like Marshawn Lynch. Remember, the media hated him because he would never talk to him and just did his own thing. But yeah, so
hey, I love that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but let's give him some time.
That ability too.
Yeah, and you know, BTJ. I don't know. I think he'll be all right. This is a lot to ingest, you know. I mean, and then he's coming in now, and these expectations have been put on him somewhat. So he may be feeling a little bit pressure right now, being his first time out there, especially with the veterans showing up. So let's give him some time. Let's see what happens when he put the pads on and he line up man on man against one of the corners.
Right.
And see how quiet he is then.
Yeah. I just want to tell you, like, the main reason I even brought that up is not to say that I'm like generally like my general opinion is just like so down about BTJ. I'm still super fucking excited about BTJ. I was just bringing it into a relative scope of like honesty is what brings you credibility.
Okay.
And the quarterback market has lost that. So is the touch with all of the sports networks appearingly. Yes. They're not honest anymore. They just say what they think will sell.
Right. I think that's the biggest thing.
Right. Honestly, BTJ, I still think is going to be a stud. But I did honestly see some things that were question marks.
Okay.
That's really all I was saying. But there's question marks about every draft pick. I can't wait to have them answered and see who he's going to be.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, Isaiah, we're out the way now.
Let's hear your top 5, boy.
All right, so of course I got Patrick Mahomes at 1. I got Lamar and Burrow at 2 and 3. At this point in his career, I don't have Aaron Rodgers up there. This one's going to be surprising. I've got Kirk Cousins at number 4. I feel like Kirk Cousins has been plagued by really bad team building. They got rid of Dalvin Cook. Who did they have after him? Alexander Madison. Alexander Madison was terrible. Their O-line has been terrible. Their defense has been awful for years. Like, this dude goes out and throws 4,500 to 5,000 yards a season and 30-something touchdowns, but his defense is like the worst defense in the league every year. Definitely not a popular opinion, but I do put Kirk Cousins up there. Now with the Falcons, I don't know. We'll see. But
I actually considered Kirk for that reason.
Yeah, but you know, as of right now, making this list going into the season, I got Kirk up there. Then I would probably have, I would either say like Trevor or Rodgers right there at 5 or 6. And then after him, I would put probably, Herbert 7. I got Josh Allen at 8. And then I've got Goff at 9 and Jordan Love at 10. No, I'd say CJ Stroud over Jordan Love at 10.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Why was in any of our list? Why wasn't there a Purdy?
Purdy suffers from great team around him syndrome.
Okay, all right.
He suffers from getting drafted by a perennial Super Bowl candidate syndrome. You know.
Okay.
I could have got drafted by them and been fine.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody can hand the ball to the best running back in the league. I mean,
good point. Okay.
Yeah, I saw somebody try and say that, like, you know, they're talking about like, you know, how bad Trevor was and stuff, and they're like, oh, well, you know, he was fated to be the next Tom Brady or Mahomes, blah blah blah. And they're like, oh, there are no Tom Brady. I'm like, okay. They're like talking about Tom Brady and Rodgers. I'm like, okay, here's the thing. I was like, Tom Brady has won like one Super Bowl when he didn't have a top 10 defense and a top 10 O-line. Every time he's gone to the Super Bowl, he's had a top 10 defense and a top 10 O-line. Every time. You can afford to have lesser weapons when you have a top 10 offensive line where you can sit behind. You know, like,
true.
people like to say that shit, and they like to say that they, blah blah blah. Like Tom Brady had literally probably the greatest defensive run in terms of defenses playing on the other side of him out of any quarterback in the history of the NFL, and that is the main reason he's won so many Super Bowls. And then he's like, I don't need the Patriots and Bill Belichick, so he goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were a defense and an offense minus a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl, and they got the quarterback. Like, when he went to Tampa Bay, he automatically had, because they drafted Tristan Wirfs, they automatically had a top 10 O-line and a top 10 defense. Like, we give Trevor a top, a top 16 offensive line, and we have a top 16, top 10 defense. I think he'll be just fine.
Absolutely.
That's the last thing I really have to say. We're kind of running up on an hour here.
Okay. I do want to say to your Kirk.
Yeah, go
ahead. I think the main reason I didn't put Kirk over Trevor is because of the fact Kirk is so great at not being great, if that makes sense. Like
that makes a whole lot of sense.
Kirk plays within his bounds, and Kirk is a game manager. I'm not saying that's bad because he's clearly fucking good at it. Okay, he's really good at it. Kirk would be in my top 10 overall. I only gave my top 5. I just gave hypotheticals afterwards. I didn't really put too much thought to the 5 and beyond, or the 6 and beyond. But Kirk is top 10. But when I look at the quarterback position, I want a guy who's physical. I want a guy who's tough. I want a guy who makes the deep bombs. I want a guy who can throw short and medium. I want a guy who knows when to climb and leave the pocket. Kirk can do those things, but I feel like Trevor does them better.
Kirk Cousins is tough and physical, baby.
I know he is.
Haven't you seen him running down players and ripping the ball out and laying the wood with those kicks?
Kirk's a tank. I love Kirk Cousins, first of all. It was not an unpopular opinion, at least for me, when you said that.
He's got a good deep ball, too. Jordan Addison and JJ found out about that. But, no, I know what you mean. And, again, that's why I said this is more based off of what he has done and what I think he was capable of rather than my future list. I think that this is more based off of right now as we sit versus, at the end of this season or at the end of in 2 or 3 years. This is just 100% right now as it sits, what I think. That is not to say I don't think Trevor can't be better than any of those guys. I don't think he can be better than Mahomes, mainly because not anything about him that I say like he can't be better than Mahomes. I think the league won't allow him to be better than Mahomes.
Agreed.
But other than that, I mean, because it's entertainment, it's rigged to an extent. But anyways, enough about that. I just don't think the league will allow him to pass or be better. But I do think that he can be a number 2 or number 3 guy within a year or two.
Same reason they sidelined Bortles from getting a ring.
They didn't think we'd sell enough. Yeah.
Bortles should have had a ring. Don't care. And it's actually downright bullshit that Goodell admitted it. Like, he flat out said it. And no one rioted. Like
Tom Brady too. Tom Brady said he didn't think he's just down, and
of course.
That's a whole 6-hour conversation.
Yeah, I could be here all day.
We know. We can't talk about the Texans or Miles Jack being down around you. We know. But all right, boys. Any final words before we sign off here?
Hey, how many more days OTAs?
Ooh, that's a great question. How many days is OTAs? Is it 9, 10, 52? I don't know.
Okay.
OTAs, NFL. It is just says phase 2, 3, 1. Well, I don't know. I don't know how long they are, but they are in a length of time, and they are currently in them. But to all you Titans, Texans, and Colts fans out there, fuck you. Make sure if you stuck around this long, like and subscribe. I know that Worm commented on the last video. I'm going to shout out Worm again, because I know you'll be here. Yeah, thanks for watching, y'all.
Duval! You know what's coming.